So, good morning, everyone. On behalf of TERI family, I am very much delighted and honored to have you all at the 24th edition of World Sustainable Development Summit. The summit is an annual flagship event of TERI. It is the only independently convened summit in the Global South, which integrates the voices of Global South of every stakeholder coming together for partnerships for climate action and sustainable development. So as this year's theme is also on partnerships and collaborations. We would discuss the role of partnerships in presenting opportunities for climate solutions. And TERI is actively working in the field of industry transitions and decarbonizing the hard to abate sectors. We have been actively part in various knowledge products and the thought leadership for decarbonizing the hard to abate sector with the industry, with research institutions, stakeholders across the sectors. Within the cement sector, when the cement sustainability initiative was launched, then also TERI was the part of cement sustainability initiative, which was an initiative of cement companies coming together in 2002 back then, working together for the sustainability initiatives and how to decarbonize the cement sector going forward. Presently, within the cement sector, TERI has worked with World Bank, creating different scenarios for industry transitions within different sectors, and how the scenarios would merge out, aligning with the roadmap, the announcements of net zero of India. And we are also working with Global Cement and Concrete Association in developing a net zero CO2 roadmap for the cement sector, which is going to be launched in this year in 2025. So with this context, now today's discussion, the structure of today's discussion is we will be setting the context, which would be done by TERI on key levers for decarbonizing the cement sector, which will be followed by a moderated discussion, and then there would be an open house with participants. So this is the structure of the session. So now I would like to begin with TERI's presentation. I would like to invite Sobhanji from Industrial Energy Efficiency team for TERI's presentation.
Yeah, thanks, Taruna. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sobhanbabu from Industrial Energy Efficiency Division, TERI. And as Taruna has already given a background of our work in the industrial sector, I would just like to add a few more initiatives that TERI from the division has been engaged in. Most of the projects the industry group is deliberating, working on, are industry focused, both the segments of the large energy intensive industries as well as the MSME sector, because MSME is a sector where the issues are different, the technologies are different. So so TERI has been handling both these the critical sectors of the industry as far as the decarbonization is concerned. There are a few important projects that TERI has completed recently, one of which is the World Bank assisted 6 sectors and the roadmap for decarbonization. And TERI has also been actively working with the Ministry of Steel on the steel sector roadmap. It was part of the task forces, as some of you are aware. And many other projects on green hydrogen and the roadmaps for other sectors. So with this background, I would like to begin my brief presentation. This presentation on the levers for cement sector it will be jointly made by me and my colleague Taruna. I'll initiate the initial interaction, and perhaps the cement focused information can be shared by Taruna after a few minutes. So basically the idea of this presentation is, this is a background presentation, a framing presentation, and this will set the context for the panel discussion that is going to come after the presentation. So in this presentation we'll give a brief introduction to the industry and then quickly move on to the cement industry. It's come. Then about the levers, the key levers that we are talking about for the cement and concrete sector, the various challenges and the possible solutions for overcoming these barriers. So we'll make a quick presentation of these, and then we'll move on to the next session, which is the panel discussion. As we all know, India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. In the last few years, GDP growth rates established this fact, and this is basically driven by our infrastructure development or digitalization and strong domestic consumption across the sectors. So this is what is driving the Indian economy at a faster rate, and then given this high growth rates, India is very firmly committed for climate change mitigation climate change mitigation, and has actually adopted low carbon pathways for reaching out to these economic growth plans. And we all know that the NDC is committed by Indian government. We have actually surpassed them. We are happy to know that these have been met quite well ahead of time, and reaffirming our commitment to climate change, India made advanced NDCs, ambitious NDC commitments, and we are well on way to reach these ambitious NDC commitments in the years to come. Having said this, I would like to just give you a quick industry overview. We are the third largest GHG emitting country after China and US. And if you look at the industry sector, is a crucial sector both in terms of energy consumption and GHG emissions. The industry's share is more than 50%, both in energy consumption as well as CO2 emissions. And within the industry sector, there are 6 major energy intensive sectors, which are iron and steel, cement, aluminum, pulp and paper, chemicals. These 6 sectors alone contribute around 80% of our industry sector's GHG emissions. This analysis has been done as part of the project that TERI completed recently under the World Bank project. You see that the iron and steel and cement, both these sectors together account for about 80% of these 6 sectors. So that kind of signifies the importance of the cement sector. I'll quickly explain the graph on the right hand side. We see that the industry sector is highly energy intensive, and within the energy it is highly thermal energy intensive, accounting for around 80%, and the balance 20% is only electricity. And if you look closely at the thermal energy, we see that there is a small segment of this thermal energy for meeting the temperature requirements below 500 degrees centigrade. This part of the thermal energy can be easily decarbonized because the temperatures are low, can be decarbonized by any of the renewable energy sources, be it solar thermal or biomass array or any other renewable energy sources. But the challenging part of the thermal energy for decarbonization is the larger segment where the temperature requirements are 500 degrees and more. And that is where the cement sector actually comes into picture, along with the other sectors like iron and steel and aluminum. Here the temperatures are more than 1200 1300 degrees centigrade. This segment of the thermal energy is complex, complicated in terms of decarbonizing, and cement sector falls into this category of the industry that needs focus and focus. Yeah. Now let's quickly move on to the cement sector. Cement is the second. India is the second largest producer of cement with around 390 or 400 million tons. I think this year it is around 420 plus million tons. And in the installed capacity, we share about 8% of the global capacity. The sector's contribution to GDP and employment generation is significant, like steel sector, but on the per capita consumption we are far low compared to the global average. Then India produces varieties of cement products broadly categorized under blended cements and OPC. Our blended cement share is high compared to the OPC. It is around 73%. And within the blended cement share of 73%, we have mainly three products: the PPC, PSC, and the composite cements. It is interesting to see that on the corner on the right side, the bottom graph shows that this is the trend of OPC and blended cements growth pattern. You see that the OPC production share has come down significantly from 90s, mid 90s to the current. It has come down from 60 plus percentage to around 27% currently. And it is also at the same time, it is heartening to see that most of the major cement players have committed for net zero. It's not only in terms of committing the net zero within a year. These companies have their firm plans for meeting the net zero. Yeah, this is basically, this particular slide shows the profile which most of you are aware because you are from the industry and other key stakeholder groups. This clearly shows that the cement industry is thermal energy intensive with around 85 to 90%, and this thermal energy is met by coal or petcoke, which is the fossil intensive thermal energy based process. And these graphs indicate one thing very clearly, that the blended cements are low on both energy consumption as well as emission intensities compared to the OPC. And these are the figures that we have arrived, specific energy consumption for thermal and electrical as part of our project with the GCC on cement sector roadmap development. And yeah, these are the decarbonization levers that we have basically arrived at as part of our GCCA project as well as the World Bank supported project. You can see that these the levers are mentioned on the clockwise. If you see the energy efficiency, renewable energy, material efficiency, circularity, these levers move from short term to long term. On the left hand side, we have the short term measures moving up towards the mid-term, like the material efficiency and circularity. And on the right hand side, we have the deep decarbonization technologies like green hydrogen and CCUS. These are kind of technologies with low TRL levels and at an early stage, and these needs to be developed. So with this, I will stop here, and I request Taruna to just take over and run through the remaining slides on the levers, specific details of the levers and barriers and challenges. Thank you.
So thank you, Sobhanji. So this is the technology matrix that we developed for the cement sector. And here we see what are the kind of levers, and for example, in alternative fuels, we see there needs to be a supply chain that needs to be developed. Then there is potential for kiln electrification, and then on research and development, how we are moving towards from 2020 to 2030 to 2040. So as we are in 2025, we are in this critical decade of climate action, and we are already reached the midway. So we would since the theme of the conference, theme of the session is on partnerships for accelerating sustainable solutions. So we would like to also learn from the industry colleagues who are here, like what are the kind of opportunities that lie ahead within the cement industry, and how are they looking at in implementation of some of the pilot technologies, or implementation of supplementary cementatious material. How it is going to pan out in this decade and going forward. So this is the kind of technology matrix that we developed at TERI, which includes the energy efficiency, is implemented by cement industry, and it has to improve the energy performance. Renewable energy also, cement industry has implemented captive power plants and increased the share of renewables. But we would like to know what are the kind of opportunities that lie ahead, and what are the kind of partnerships that the industry would like to seek across like with different stakeholders in implementing the solutions or accelerating the decarbonization efforts. So this is the analysis was done by TERI in terms of cement production. So we considered two scenarios. One was low growth scenario and one was high growth scenario. In high growth scenario was basically a business as usual scenario. If we don't implement decarbonization efforts, we see that we reach a production of approximately 2,800 million tons by 2070. I think we are at 400 million tons today, annual production. And with the low growth scenario, we would reach approximately 1,500 million tons. And this is the share of carbon dioxide reductions that would happen with different levers. So we can see almost 1/3 of emissions, like energy efficiency could contribute 1% in reduction of emissions. Renewable energy could contribute 6% of emission reductions by 2070. Then fuel switch 10%, and approximately 1/3 is contributed by CCUS and material efficiency. So these are some of the challenges, but we are all aware of the challenges which are there, but this is just an overview of the challenges, but we would like to discuss more on the opportunities that lie ahead of us. So way forward is how do we accelerate collaborations, policy frameworks and roadmaps, what kind of policies are needed, and financing needs to accelerate deployment, and the standards and protocols and taxonomy. So these are the kind of the themes that is the way forward. So now we would like to shift to our next segment, which is the moderated discussions. I would like to invite Dr. Soumen Maity, Vice President Development Alternatives, who is the chair of today's session, to the dais. Thank you, sir. Mr. Amit Khare from Sequoia Climate Foundation, Mr. Anupam Badola, Dr. Abhishek Rai, Neha Gupta, and Abhishek Srivastav from Tata Projects. Soumenji, I would like to hand over to you now. How would you like to start? Like, should we have a round of introductions?
Yes, I think let me just give you a short 2 minutes on whatever you and my thoughts into this. Uh, Across the world, when we see the cement industry, the Indian cement industry is one of the most efficient in the world. Majorly due to the use of fly ash and the slag and other supplementary cementitious materials, but the sheer quantity that we make makes us again an high emitter of CO2. Three things that we have been focusing and the cement industry is working towards it. One is improving the efficiency, but as you rightly pointed out, it is only 1% of the thing. Introducing alternate fuels, AFR, so that is also one of the areas that the cement industry is working, and one of the most important things is reducing the clinker content, looking at alternative materials other than fly ash. Because what we are working with quite a number of cement industries, what is happening now is the cost of fly ash and the transportation cost of fly ash are becoming so high that if it is greater than or equal to the cost of clinker, then it doesn't make any business sense. Whatever you say of carbon emissions, everything the cement company has set up to do business, and if it is doing business at a loss making, then it doesn't make any sense towards it. Having said that, we talk the theme of this in partnerships, and I think one of the greatest example of partnerships in the cement industry is the development of the low carbon cement. It is an area we started in 2012, where from the very beginning, it was a partnership between academics, the industry, and the civil society, and also other actors. When we say industries, from the very beginning, the day we started the introduction of LC3, there are most of the major cement companies. Dalmia is here, Dalmia, Ultratech Cements, JK Lakshmi Cements, JK Cements, everybody supported us. And if you can see the result of that, and that is the strength of a partnership, within 5 years, the BIS standard of LC3 was published. It has never happened, and there are probably, it took some decades, a decade or more for the publication of the composite standards. But within 3 to 5 years, the standards were published. So that's the power of partnerships, and I would really like to see this partnership moving ahead. This is, I would say, this is the start, and we would like to move ahead. But first of all, I would just a round of introduction, your name, where you are, if you can, from the organization that you belong to. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amit Khare. I'm Program Manager at Sequoia Climate Foundation. We are a California-based philanthropy, one of the largest that is working on climate solutions. And we are very happy that we are working with partners like Shakti and others, TERI and others in India on some of these issues since last 3-4 years. And very happy that this discussion is happening today, and excited for the moderated session. Thank you.
Thank you, TERI, for giving us this opportunity. Happy to be here. My name is Anupam, and I am working as Deputy CSO at Dalmia Cement, looking after the sustainability function. We are 46 million ton cement company, and we have 15 plants across India. We are one of the lowest carbon footprint cement producer in global cement domain, and we look forward to the discussions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, TERI, for inviting me. I am Dr. Abhishek Rai, and I'm heading the quality and R&D for Cement. And we are doing a lot of collaborations and projects to reduce the carbon footprint. And as Maity ji has told that we are looking forward for the better collaborations. We have R&D centers, and where we are not only doing for our product blended cement, but we are looking for the alternate binders, that is the utilization of waste material. And as you know that the specific heat consumptions, everything, like the heat of reactions plays a very important role. So we are looking for some alternate raw materials which has that property to have the better reduction in that heat of reaction, so that your specific heat consumptions will further reduce. So we are doing a lot of projects, but of course we need some better collaborations to have some expertise in this field. And of course LC3 is one of the best product we have for CO2 reductions. But we have as per looking into the feasibility studies, we need more informations that I think Maity and team are helping us to achieve those success in those field as well. So looking forward to have more insights, so that we can work together, and we will give the best results in this field. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Neha Gupta. I'm the project manager for LC3 TRC in IIT Delhi. IIT Delhi is the pioneer for LC3 in India. And with the kind of decarbonization we are talking about in the cement industry now, LC3 is a potential replacement for the traditional cements which are there available. And I'll be talking about that today. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Arvind Srivastav. I'm head of quality for Tata projects. So as we are end user, we are doing a lot of projects across globe, to more recognize like Noida International Airport we are working for, and we are exploring a lot decarbonization, low carbon, low hydrogen cements, and many other material also, like say steel industry. But here we are focusing on cement. So even we are crossing globe boundaries, we are going globally, also exploring many admixture company, partnering with them also. LC3 is future, basically going thermal power, going downsizing and all. So obviously LC3 will be a future for the cement industry, and we should do a lot, and we need to focus a lot on this subject, so that we do more partnering, and we are looking forward for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much on this. Right now, to take this forward, what I would like to do is pose a couple of questions to you, to initiate the thoughts and see whatever you are not required to exactly answer them, but just a teaser for you to answer them. So the first question to Tata Projects is, you talked about the role of partnerships and collaborations. Without the support of the construction industry, even if we produce cement, it doesn't mean anything. So how do you look at these partnerships in the near future?
Sure. So see, exactly the partnership, like what we are seeing, like for LC3 particularly, if I talk about, it needs more proactive approach from manufacturing industry, and from manufacturers to promote this new product. We have done a lot of testing, we have explored. We actually at Noida International Airport also we have tested, and we got some samples, and we tested, and the results are very positive, I say. And even customers are very much interested and pushing us to use. So, but we are looking for more like partnering with the right admixture companies, right admixture quality, so that we don't compromise on strength. And obviously that initial the initial thought that okay, we should since we are in construction industry, and we always look into long term, like airport you are making, and you have to look for 100 years and more. And with that we are very we can say that very much cautious, very much typical on the taste results and all, and that we are doing. We are comparing. We should not compromise on the technical aspect also. Until now, the results with the LC3 has been very much encouraging, I tell you. And in fact, we are looking more to partner, more to discuss with a variety of companies. Till now, only one manufacturing company has approached us and given sample, and we tested, and results are good. And more important thing, one aspect I see here, that the right admixture, the partnering with the right admixture company, quality. Like in one of the example I'll share with you, even we were trying earlier, before LC3 introduced to us, we were trying and we went to Switzerland to bring a new technology of admixture, and that has given a very good result to us, reducing carbon, reducing even cost also, so cost effective solution. And that has given a lot and good benefit to company, and we are using a lot that admixture in our Nevada International Airport. So that way we are looking for, this is what I can say as of today, and maybe then we can discuss and visit and go in detail the results and all.
That's probably very sweet music to our ears, to the companies also, to see that yes, you are actively doing this. So taking it forward, some thoughts from the cement companies. We would like to hear from you. What would you like to, both from Shree Cements and Dalmia, probably whichever order that you want, what kind of partnerships that you foresee to accelerate this R&D and implement some demonstration projects or pilot technologies? What is your perspective on that?
I think representative from Tata has very well defined that the performance in the cement, like we know that the chemistry of LC3, if we are talking about in cement, but finally when it is going for the concrete usage, so that depends upon that aggregate selections, admixture properties, as he rightly mentioned. That still, I think the collaboration what we are looking for is concrete. What is the performance in the concrete? So we need the better research activity and the collaborations in that respect. But what should be the performance in the concrete? As per the cement is concerned, I think a lot of training programs from your side and many more have given on this topic. As per this testing of this LC3 from the raw material to like the finished product, we are well aware, right? The same, I think we should move further as per the concrete durability and other properties are concerned, so that it will increase the confidence. Because still I see that now in many of the projects, of course, I would like to thank Tata that they have started using LC3 at their Jio airport. And similarly, I think that confidence, if it is going from other policy makers also, like government tenders also for the LC3. In some of the projects, government tenders, I'm happy that they have included this LC3 in their tenders, and they are inviting LC3 cement also. Similarly, for the concrete, I think we are still lacking that information, that what is the performance of LC3. So we are looking forward for such collaborations which can help us in that field.
Perfect. Anupam, your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Maity, and I'm sure it's music to Tara as well as to IIT Delhi, because you have been doing fantastic job in promoting LC3, and your work is reaping the fruits also, as standard has been published, and also developments like Tata projects is already doing the testing. So already I think role of partnership, you can see it is already visible, and that is happening. And we are in a great time where for the decarbonization levers, you have seen a range of decarbonization levers, from energy efficiency to clinker factor reduction, carbon capture and utilization storage, and various other activities like electrification, etc. In all of those levers, thankfully, we have been seeing developments globally in terms of partnerships. We have been observing partnerships which are happening between academia and industries. We are observing partnerships happening between governments as well as industries. And we are also observing the partnerships happening with academia, government and industry. And recent example of that is the call from DST, Department of Science and Technology, where they have identified certain necessity for going for even the nascent levers like carbon capture and utilization. And there a call was invited by DST, where various cement companies have participated, And cement industry has participated in a big way. More than 28 projects were applications were submitted. Out of them, now DST will be taking the way forward and basically taking the decision to support some of the industrial academia partnerships along with government to set up some small scale CCUS plant. Similarly, there are other activities also where such partnerships can work. We have already been observing that in LC3 also academia industry partnership, as you might have seen since 14-15 itself in Dalmia Cement and IIT Delhi, we have carried out first pilot level demonstration plant that has plant scale kind of trial that happened in 14-15. And after that, there are a lot of activities happened in the development of LC3. So I think we see a lot of partnerships which are already in place. At the same time, we need to see more and more of them, because with more partnerships, other levers like electrification, etc. Then similarly, high-end energy efficiency levers, fuels like green hydrogen, they can also be looked into, particularly for use in the cement industry. And then together with those partnerships, advanced partnerships, probably we can look into the entire ambit of the decarbonization levers which have been identified in TERI's roadmap. TERI has done fantastic job with GCCA to basically to develop a roadmap for the industry for net zero up to 2070. And I think partnership play a very important role to ultimately realize that dream that we become net zero by 2070. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Anupam.
Mr. Maity, I would like to add something to the
Yeah, that
concerns.
is my next part to you also. Next part to you. So, between the civil society and academics, Tara being from the civil society and academics being IIT Delhi or IIT Madras, we had a decade-long partnerships, more than a decade now. And we are still going strong in partnerships with Professor Shashank Bishnoi leading it from IIT Delhi and from IIT Madras also. So what is your perspective on the role of this partnership between civil society and academics, and how does it create more research and driving towards implementation also?
First, I would like to answer the concern which Mr. Rai and Mr. Badola had, and also Mr. Srivastav. They were talking about the concrete durability testings and the concerns about that we need to have some kind of partnerships for that, so that we are aware that if LC3's performance is good enough in that area as well or not. So I would just like to say that as being we are part from academia, we are trying to help industry for that same purpose only, apart from not only for the raw material testing which we are doing, even the concrete durability testings which we are doing. We are currently helping other projects and cement industry people. Like I would like to tell you about Lodha Group, which is currently working on the same. So they are trying to, they're working on testing the concrete durabilities and testing the buildings and everything for the same, the material for the set, and they want to use it for their villas. So that's one part which we are already doing. So that is something which, if there is any concern, the kind of concern you're having, we can help you out in that as well. So and the results which are coming from the Lodha side, they're pretty good and assurable. So I think that will also help the concern which Tata Projects has, that whether it will perform nice or not. So
any thoughts on the role of partnerships between civil society and academic research institutions?
Definitely. IIT Delhi is an academia institute. They are here to do the research. We are here to try to come up with the solutions for the problems. But when we have the civil societies and even the cement companies and the industry partnerships, they all are here to come up with the problems. That's what we are here for. We are here to solve the problems which you guys will come up with. So we need the problems from your side so that we can work on the solutions.
Good. Can I, going for, thank you Neha for this. If I move on to Amit, we have a long-standing partnerships between both of us. How do you see the role between, the same question, the role between civil society and academics? Sorry.
Thank you for the excellent question. I think the best example of the partnership for any problem that you want to solve is exist on this panel, right? You need academic institution to prove the science that the system really works. then you need manufacturers to actually manufacture that alternative system. In this case, it's better cement. And then you need a consumer, which is at towards the end of this dais. And then civil society, which actually creates the ecosystem for things to scale up from pilot to really mainstream, right? Because you need policy, you need larger scale adoption. So all these pillars, that partnership that you would like to have, exist in this panel. And the role of philanthropies or the other financial institutions is basically to enable this ecosystem, because you need capital and different type of capital at different phases of this partnership. IIT Delhi's or other academic institutions would need some sort of capital to do R&D, innovate, and understand what can be changed, what new technology can be manufactured to certain objective, in this case reduction in cement emissions. And then you need somebody to really pilot those, right? So like some manufacturers, with the help of civil society, can do some demonstration, do some pilot, and then make a minimum viable product that, okay, this can work. And then create an ecosystem with the policymakers to really do the larger scale adoption with the help of consumers like Tata and others. So I believe this partnership is very important. And then, philanthropies and others in the ecosystem, such as bigger financing institutions, can play a huge role in making this partnership very, very effective.
Don't go away, Amit, because the next question triggers some of the things that you mentioned, is the word called policies. Partnerships, we have till now discussed partnership with the institutions, with the academic institutions, with the civil societies, with the companies. But one of the partners that we think is going to accelerate this process, adoption of cleaner technologies, is the government. And you mentioned the word called policy. So how do you see policy in accelerating this decarbonization?
Yeah, another excellent question. So I think policies are really needed to accelerate any transformation, right? Because if you look at any system, there is always a lot of inertia. In fact, I ask these questions to myself sometimes that, low carbon cement is actually inexpensive technology. Compared to many other technologies, with my limited knowledge, and I may be wrong, you guys can correct me, making green steel is expensive and somebody will have to pay a premium. But if you're reducing clinker or limestone, with mixing it with fly ash, or in case of clay, it's basically cheaper technology, right? So it should be very cost incentive. There is a cost incentive for you manufacturers to do it. But there's always an inertia in the system, because you have to convince customers to really buy that new technology, which looks different. You have always questions. You need new standards. So the role of policy really becomes important, because it breaks that barrier, right? So policies such as public procurement, that can you identify a usage where you can start using some alternative technologies, build confidence of the industry, make consumer more aware about it. I think those sort of policies can bring a large scale change and make technology more mainstream. So role of policy is very important, but it's what we need to really think that where to start, right? What changes needs to happen in the policy so that this transformation start taking place.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for that. That gives an food for thought for the next set of questions that I would like to pose to all three of you, to Anupam, Abhishek, and to Neha also. We have done quite a lot of, between us, in the project, we have done quite a lot of pilot innovations. And technologies has been already proven in the field, and not only the academics and the other people, but cement companies have done it also. How do you see and what are the strategies that you think that is needed to accelerate it to scale, to achieve scale? And how can we influence the government, or what are the policies that are needed so that the government starts, so you get the required boost to adopt these?
I think I'm taking this opportunity to answer first, right? Because when it comes for the policy making, of course, I think still the push has to be from the government side. And as our Modi ji has also committed, by 2070 we have to be zero carbon. So looking into that strategy, I think demand has to be there, and we as from the cement industry fraternity, we are ready to manufacture LC3, but looking into the cost economics, it is still costlier, because we have to go with different setup. And so I think LC3 or low carbon cement should be given a special treatment, right, a special category, looking into the taxations and others, like if for our cement, other cement, if 28% of GST is being taken, that similarly it should be categorized into a different, because low carbon cement, so that the push and that motivation should be given to that cement industries to produce this kind of cement. And it is not costly, I would say. Initially it looks costly, that it is a costly affair, but after the motivation is created and we are getting the volume, so it is totally proportional to the volume. If we are getting the volume, good volume of low carbon cement, then whatever the cost economy is going to work for every cement industries, right? So the policy needs to be defined proper, and we should be given a special this low carbon cement should be given a special category, so that we can move forward, and this motivation will be created to everyone. I would say that LC3 cement really give us that knowledge, and academia also help us in many of the aspects. That I told you that we are doing many projects where we can reduce this carbon footprint from that raw mix also, that is whatever the alternate raw material, because when we are pushing LC3, first of all it looks, because of that policy, that no, it is very costly affair, and secondly, like it involves some cost capex, that is you need XRD also, because where you have to see the kaolite, where you need microscopy also, where you have to see that whether the amorphous content is increasing or not, right? So first of all, the logic, I mean, if I am talking about other cement small players, they are thinking that investment has to be given, because they have to select more educated people, right? So that they can understand what is kaolite and what is that phase conversion, right? For us it was very easy, and it gives us different insights also, that whatever we have done for that material chemistry of LC3 within the selection of clay, why not to do it for the other raw materials using the raw mix. It gives us the understanding that if we are talking about the alumina, what is the reactive alumina, like all the alumina are not reactive, alumina are different forms as per the XRD is concerned. So the new technology, like a concept like from the LC3, it has given a different angle, not only to push LC3 only, but to have other understanding how can we bring out that carbon footprint in making of the clinker as well. So the policy making, we request you to kindly look into that one and do something for us.
Anupam, we got a very good lever on taking tax benefits, proposing to the government of getting tax benefits for green cements.
Yeah, thank you. So I think policy is definitely very important lever to drive the green transition in the country. At the same time, just one clarification on the point made by Mr. Amit. So see, green steel or low carbon cement, I think it is important when we say cost. So cost is subject to the definition of the cement, right, or subject to definition of certain carbon content what we are talking about, whether it is green cement, whether it is low carbon cement. If we are saying low carbon cement, at what low carbon cement we are saying. So depending on that, cost will vary. At that same time, currently as of now, there is no green premium that is available in the market, and all voluntarily through the efforts of the cement industry in India, and we are doing the best in terms of promotion of the blended cement in the country. We have been able to reach nearly 70% in terms of more than 70% in terms of promoting the blended cement and having the market penetration of the blended cement. But the remaining 30% or 27% which is still existing in the market, that needs a larger policy push. It requires deeper policy push, because that is mainly coming from the non-availability of the policy of green procurement, publicly basically green public procurement that needs to happen. It is a low hanging fruit which probably needs to be taken up by various central and state governments. Also, we also need to have a stronger push from building code side, because if you see in ratings of the buildings, when it is platinum building, green building, or various other green certifications, there you will see multiple embodied basically materials which can give points to the embodied carbon in the buildings, And this can be achieved by, out of 20, just one product it has been changed, then you get one number. And the value of that out of 100, the value of those numbers is also very small. It may be just 1% or 2%. It has to go up. That will help in the private sector to probably, further have the, interest for blended cement or low carbon cement. LC3 is a great product. And going forward, if we have policy levers like that, we probably need to have, if policy levers like that, we will have more demand of the green cements or low carbon cements in the market. And then at the same time, then we also need to unlock other levers. And for that, then there needs to be some kind of a philanthropic capital. You mentioned the philanthropic capital. And it has a great role, particularly in setting up pilots, demonstrations, carrying out feasibility studies, because there are a lot of knowledge that needs to be developed, that needs to be shared, that needs to be implemented in the industry. So if those kind of activities, those kind of studies are carried out, those kind of small test scale pilots are carried out, developed in the industry, I think that will go a long way towards development of, or in fact, use of LC3 in the sector, in the construction sector. So this is the take on my side. Yes.
Thank you very much. Neha, if you can quickly share, how do we scale? Do you need any policies or strategies to scale?
I would also like to add to Mr. Badola's and Mr. Rai's comments that green finance can also be something which can help in meeting the initial capex, which is a concern for most of the cement industries, because when we have to set up the clay calcination plants and everything, there is a high capex involved in it, which is a major concern for the cement industries while setting up for LC3 cement plants. So apart from, yes, obviously, apart from the green incentives, carbon credits, and the kind of ease in the policy makings and everything, green financing can help in meeting those capex requirements, and probably it will help in starting the plans, and that could be a great addition to it.
Thank you very much. To Tata Projects, if you see, digressing from a little bit on this, if you see that one of the major consumers of cement is the government, of, I would say, green or low carbon cements. I'm not specifying LC3 here. So what do you think is what needs to be done so that the government can adopt it or can look at it in large scale, so that it creates a demand for the market, for the producers also? Anything that needs to be done by the government?
Right, and actually, see, anything, as we are discussing policy, anything, any new initiative can be driven effectively only with the effective policy. So from government end, if there is a policy, if there is a push that, okay, the proper policy promotion benefits to manufacturing industry on green cement, so what happens then, it becomes part of tenders, part of requirements, and then people are then pulled to do that and think on that and do more research. As I said, proactiveness. So any new thing, until unless there is some aggressive approach, some proactiveness into that approach, it's very difficult to then implement widely. And then obviously for the manufacturing industry to create right supply chain, right volume, until unless they get proper volume, they cannot be cost effective. And any, then industry until unless they see that cost effectiveness, along with that, even today, having ESG policies, ESG KPIs, everybody has very well-defined KPIs, and that is also a kind of policy which is pulling people to use green solutions in everything. So what happens then, if there is even there is no cost benefit, and still if people are finding that it is something which will help in our sustainability KPIs or reducing carbons and all, that is also equivalent to cost effectiveness. So those, obviously the policy at government level, a broad policy, broad things coming into the government tenders, obviously it's going to help.
So what I heard you say is that if the government introduces a kind of an preferential public procurement for green cements, then it might help in accelerating and bridging the supply and the demand gap also. Will it help? It is going to help the producers in producing it also. We have heard quite a lot of LC3. I think that all the discussions moved into LC3. Coming to my last, before I hand it over to the audience to ask questions, any perspective on the LC3 cement production in India? Amit, if you have any.
No, I don't think I will have a perspective on LC3 cement. It's a very technology. In fact, I would challenge everybody that we don't really need to focus on one technology. We should be technology agnostic, right? So LC3 is one of those, but there could be many others, right? So, but I think this learned panel will talk more about cement and LC3. I think my personal comment would be the point that Anupam made, that taxonomy, like what is that we are calling green, right? The taxonomy development is very important, so that partnership can then lead to a policy intervention, right? Without, like, we can have a fantastic partnership, but we don't have, like, what is green. And recently the example is that Ministry of Steel actually released a taxonomy for green steel. Can we have similar taxonomy for green cement as well? Define some rating system so that in public procurement you can identify that what rating you needed for what end users. It will make easier for policymakers to define policy, and then this partnership can actually manifest into in a policy that we are looking at. So that will be my personal comment. They start with taxonomy, develop rating systems, work on public procurement policy, and that's the outcome of this partnership that we started with talking about today.
You are being very modest, but you gave a very interesting dimension towards it. Anupam, if.
Yeah, I think in policy there's one more point which I would like to. Sorry, I think in policy there's one more point which I would like to add, and this is performance-based standards. I think we also need to have shift towards performance-based standards from input standards currently we have, and if there are specific standards for low carbon cement, for specific performance of the cement, then there will be possibility to have more research and development, because there might be possibility to have PPC with lower clinker content. We may have possibility to have LC3 with lower clinker content, which can have similar impact as OPC, and it gives the further cost benefit at final level also, basically. So, and it will also spur the research in that, whether it is civil society joining, whether it is philanthropic capital joining, whether it is academia joining. But I think all those things also would further strengthened if we shift to performance-based standards. So this is one important lever where performance-based standard needs to be implemented in the country.
Abhishek, if you have anything to.
I think I completely agree with Anupam, and the standards should be performance based, and of course looking into the availability of LC3, I mean clay for making the LC3. Still I think we have the lack of informations, and from the government also, that where the reserves are lying, right? Still we are missing it. So for those areas where that clay is not available as per the records, we should have a performance base. Like suppose now the fly ash, getting a good quality of fly ash is also a challenge, because the demand is there for PPC, and the fly ash availability is not there, and therefore the composite cement came, that fly ash can be also, and some areas we have slag both, so why not to have the mixed blended ternary blend cement. Similarly, if we are talking about the performance base, why we have been given that no, only 35% is the limit to add this fly ash. It should be performance. You give us that strength requirement, maybe improving the clinker reactivity, we can have that strength parameters, we can meet that strength parameters. So if we are talking about that CO2 from product wise, CO2 reduction of CO2 product wise, why we are restricted to the standards which limit us that this is the total percentage. Just give us that what is the requirement, strength requirements, performance requirement, durability requirements. So we will meet if we are able to produce a good quality of clinker, high potential clinker. Then we should not be, we should not given any constraint that this is the maximum limit of fly ash you can use it. So I think that revision has to be, because if we are talking about the European standard also, they have performance based standard. that can be implemented here as well, right? Of course, LC3 is a better solution, which has given us one of the option, right? Where fly ash is, if I'm talking about Northeast, fly ash is very costly. Even it is costlier than clinker, right? But we have a deposit of, Anupam has mentioned that, they were the first producer for that, this calcined clay, right? In 2015, right? So they have the deposit. They understand that the deposits were there in Northeast, right? So similarly, where the fly ash was costly, there LC3 will be the best option. Similarly, where we have only fly ash and we have that target to reduce our carbon footprint, then and we are able to maintain that strength parameter, then why we are restricted to 35?
Absolutely okay. Do you think that, so it gives me a thought that when we are doing the performance-based standards, if the emission factor can also be a part of that.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
this emission, the emission of the cement should be, if you have an emission of say whatever X quantity, then the cost will be this. If you have an emission of this, then the government should be using it. So some sort of,
Correct.
apart from the strength and the performance and the quality, the emission can also be a part of the standard.
Yes, yes.
Neha, coming back to you because we are running a little bit short of time, but anyway, your thoughts on this.
So what I would like to say is we build technologies for future. Currently, we are producing cement, we are having 73% of the blended cement available, but with the kind of capacity building we are doing, the kind of demand we are having, the cement demand we are having in India, we are trying to build the capacities. We are building 35 metric tons per year, which is like in whole Germany every year. So the kind of cement demands we are expecting in the next 4 to 5 years, we are not sure of the availability or of SCMs to cater that kind of a demand. So definitely low carbon cement, LC3 is an important part of it because we would be needing it to meet that kind of the demand which is going to come in the next 4 to 5 years. It being net, apart from that, since it is, we have to achieve our net zero targets as well. So it's an important addition to that demand as well. So it will help us in meeting our net zero targets as well. So LC3 is, like as you told about the availability of raw materials is an issue and everything. But when we talk about, in my perspective and the kind of research and work we are doing, we found that availability of raw material is not an issue. Availability of that kind of a trained personnel which can identify the kind of raw material we need for LC3 is an issue. So that is something which is required, enough trainings from for the cement industry people to identify the raw materials. Now Anupam was saying about the help of geological, the governments and for identifying the raw materials. But in the current time, the kind of technologies we are already having, we really don't need the government's help to identify the raw material locations. We are already doing that same in Africa as well. So, and we have been able to identify good resources through the technologies and the private players available in the market. So it's just about the initiative which the cement companies finally need to take. It's just that resistance from their part that this can be an issue and that can be an issue. Rather than that, if they're ready to take that initiative and taking the first step, there are various solutions which are there for the problems. Amit was talking about the taxonomy and the rating. So we are already working on developing the rating system for the cement industry. So we are working on that aspect already. As I already said, we are from academia. So you come up with the problems, we'll try and work on the solutions for the same. So working for the ratings. Apart from that, when we talk about electrifications of the kiln, since the temperature which is required for calcination is only around 780 degrees centigrade, we are already trying to work on using solar technology for the same as well. So that would be even more helpful in reducing the carbon emissions and everything. So these are the various solutions which we are already working on. We are already working on reducing the clinker content up to 30-35%. That's our objective for LC3. 50% is just the starting point. So that will help in reducing the cost for the cement industry. It will help in reducing the carbon emissions as well. So I think it can be a good source for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just few points, Neha, on your remarks.
Sure.
So basically, it's not that there is a resistance from the cement industry. Had there been resistance, you would have not received the standard within 4 or 5 years. And in fact, we were the first company to start the trial in 2014 itself, right? At the full scale, pilot scale trial where industry came forward and that trial happened. But there are some procedural things which need to happen, particularly quantification of the mineral resources, right? So as of now, there is no quantification of the mineral resources. How the quantification would happen, and the right agency for that quantification is Geological Survey of India. Basically, the government has to identify the resource, and government has to identify the quantification of that. And after that, then there will be mining and etc. Other things would start happening. The second thing is that we have been for a very long time saying that performance-based standards are one of the important aspect. So in LC3 currently, fly ash-based cement is there. From the decarbonization perspective, PPC makes more sense currently than LC3 because you need to calcine the cement LC3. You need to calcine the clay. At the same time, as you have rightly said, the moment the clinker content goes down from 50% to 35%, it will make a lot more sense from the decarbonization perspective. That also needs to be looked into. And the second important thing probably that needs to be looked into is whether there can be some other method of activation of the clay rather than heating. So whether there can be some other more economical method rather than heating, whether it can be chemical activation, whether it can be sulfate activation, whether it can be only any other type of activation method. So that is also another research area that needs to be looked into. But I think the industry was always ahead. Industry was looking forward. But at the same time, the challenges are there, and it's not the resistance of the industry. It is basically towards solution that we are discussing, that how those solutions can be, how those challenges can be basically overcome through the solutions.
Resistance, this is about resistance in producing. Like as you're already saying that within 5 years we got the BIS standard, but the BIS standard has come in 2023 April, and now it's 2025. So cement industries are still thinking about whether to have the demand first for the cement and then go ahead with the production. And when we talk about the end users, they are in the view that whether when they get the production done, they'll be using it. So that's more like a chicken and egg problem, wherein somebody has to start it first. You have to start with the demand first.
Yep. Before I go into the audience, open up the floor for questions. Just one quick thought of Arvind. What do you think might be the demand of LC3 in the future? A qualitative kind of a demand. It is not going to replace PPC. That is very, very clear. Fly ash cements will be there. With the growth, there will be growth in OPC.
I have different view on fly ash. You see that in European country, thermal power plants are almost closed. US almost closed. India, we are slowly going into that. So fly ash future is not there, and we have to find out some alternate solutions. So fly ash will decline, and we will not be able to use fly ash in future, and that is why at initial stage I told that LC3 will be, or some similar kind of solution will be the only the future. Actually, that will have future. Something like Mr. Abhishek told, that there should be something performance-based solutions, like if some parameters are fixed and they are the expert, they can bring solution that okay, with the right strength, with the right emission, and that what best solution. But maybe then that actually I was hearing him very carefully, that Ignite somewhere else, that R&D, he's from R&D, I saw his background. So some R&D can be set up somewhere at some level, so that such kind of thing has to be, because it is opening some other corners, that it is not only LC3.
Very
so
true.
That is what I heard from, I could sense from him, that if some other solutions also can be defined, and that we should start looking into. So LC3, as you said, it has to replace completely the amount today we are using. After some time we have to, because we cannot have that parallel that okay, we option, if we have option that okay, we will use this, and then some percentage, obviously we have to progressively define some percentage or some KPIs to replace, but obviously we have to have some target to replace completely the thing, and such kind of solution has to come into this.
Thank you very much, Arvind. We will
Just I have one question.
Yeah,
I mean, just I would like to suggest that if we are really looking for a journey and certain solutions, no, I think OPC, if we are comparing the LC3 performance with OPC, it is like all together it is better actually. LC3 is better than OPC. So why not, like we can we really want to have that no encouraging value as per the CO2 emission is concerned in the product. I think 100% replacement of OPC, which is 27% in the total product mix. Let us look with no total replacement. As you rightly mentioned, that PPC is a challenge because altogether it is matching that no CO2 emission. Why not? We should not encourage OPC to be used. Let us convert into LC3 first. This would be the first phase. Then second phase will be we can go beyond that.
That's absolutely okay. We will discuss this at an appropriate time. But the floor, I would like to open the floor for questions. Yes, please.
Yeah, thanks. In the light of global geopolitical tension, US is coming out of all the climate policies. Europe is also, yesterday we heard that Europe is coming up with their central one more defense architecture, and Russia is always, and China is not caring of emissions. How do we see that global partnership among this? Will these emission factors of a particular, all this technology will still exist, or in the coming years it does not make sense of all these carbon emissions?
Amit, would you like to answer this? I would like to refer this to you. You are working globally also.
It's a tough question. Right? It's a tough question given how the things are there in the global context and all the geopolitical tension. I think I will limit my response in the context of this session. Right? That's more appropriate. I mean, cement is not the commodity which is like traded a lot between countries, right? Because of the sheer nature of the commodity. It's so expensive to, manufacture cement here and maybe make concrete and then send it to Europe. It doesn't work that way, right? But if you look at overall emissions, overall global emissions from cement is around 6 to 7%, right? And 75% of those are in China, and then in India, and then some in Vietnam, Indonesia, and some in other countries. So countries that really matter for global cement sector decarbonization, currently in China and India, right? And China has built massive capacity of cement production, right? And now we also know that there is a recession in China. The further construction is not going, not happening. So then there could be a risk that some of these countries can start thinking about dumping in Southeast Asia and other countries, right? And that's where India experience becomes very important for our friends in Southeast Asia. That what these countries can learn from manufacturers here, right? Can these manufacturers have a global South market, right? Can some of the policy makers that they are thinking here, can those learnings can be taken to Indonesia or Vietnam, so that they can protect their boundaries and not become a dumping ground for other countries. I think that's how I see global play in cement. I would not go to the geopolitics of. So I think it's my other pay grade.
So just I have answers for that, and it's a one-line answer. Of course, like others are doing it so forcefully. Sometime China will also have to do it. The understanding is everybody started talking. You know that when we have started our journey, we just decarbonization we were writing, and we were just putting a space then space carbonization. But now you can see that no, it is written together, decarbonization. So it is merged. So they have to do it. They have to do it, right? Today they are doing it, or maybe tomorrow, because finally everybody has to do it. So this is just with the word you can understand that decarbonization and decarbonizations. The space has been removed. Yeah.
Yes, please. Very interesting observations.
A very good morning. Myself, Dr. Shweta. I am working in Department of Geography, Vyalsing College, University of Delhi. Recently, we have conducted a survey in Delhi with some of my students, taking into consideration the normal traditional cement and the green cement, and we have selected few pockets in Delhi. Some of the basic challenges that the students and when we have gone to the survey area, that majority of the people, they were ignorant about this new aspect, and some of them who were even they had knowledge about this, they were hesitant to use this new kind of technology. So my question is to Dr. Abhishek, that when we talk about decarbonization of industry and that you have talked about the performance-based indicators. How do you connect with the wide consumer base at the level of India, whereby they have deep-rooted poverty and they have a lot of hesitation based on their existing tradition and culture? So when you want to make this imbibed or penetrate in the Indian culture, how can you connect with the large audience base here?
Yeah, when I am talking about this performance-based cement, and there is a standard that no, this should be the performance in the cement, and when we are talking about that, if the strength requirements can be satisfied. Of course, if we are talking about to the government for have that no taxation benefit and special product category. So when we are talking about the consumers, of course, with our side from the cement manufacturing side also, we will give a special no pricing for that as well, right? So we are working on that one. Of course, as the Maity ji has told that no, it is together with the government and the industries. If we are getting the benefit, if we are getting the realizations of our product, that is like a kind of LC3 green product, right? So definitely we are going to benefit that, because we are not talking about sustainability, that is product sustainability at the cost of durability. We understand that, because consumer is something that if consumers are the only the bread and butter who are giving us to the cement industry. So definitely if we are talking about the performance, we will not compromise with the performance just taking the name of green cement, right? Green cement is that what kind of performance they require. Suppose my requirement is to build a house of only one floor, then why OPC is required? Why they are demanding OPC? We can come with LC3 also, if because the product performance can be through the LC3 also. If we are talking about, so performance is that what is your requirement? Why I will give to the customer OPC cement where he can easily match those requirements with the PPC or LC3. So it will be totally a performance based, that whatever the consumer requirement is there, so he will give get that price benefit as well as and performance based. So this is the answer from my side.
Just one point I would like to add. So I think initially it needs to be a top-down approach. We fully understand that at this point in time, it may not be possible to explain that what is sustainable product, how it will be helping in decarbonization of globe, and how it will be helping in their betterment, their children's betterment. So at this moment, it may be difficult proposition. So initially, it may be a top-down approach. Once the awareness is more and more in the society, then it may be also a bottom-up approach at later stage. But initially, it has to be a top-down approach, primarily from the policy driver side.
Perfect.
I would also like to add something to this. When we talk about the rating systems, see, we all are aware about the electronic systems. We all buy a 5-star fridge. We don't know what 5-star exactly means, but we trust on the rating systems. So when we are talking about developing the rating systems for cement industry and the various kind of cements, that will also help in customers identifying that which kind of product they want to go ahead with. Because the rating systems will be including the decarbonization aspect, the pricing aspect, and the durability aspects of the cements as well. So even if they are not aware about that which cement is providing what, but they can go ahead with the rating, like they want to go ahead with the 4-star rating or the 5-star rating of the cements as well. So that will help.
Ma'am, do we have any app for this whereby general public like us who are ignorant, we can go and we can make a comparison of the different kinds of cements available and the kind of carbon emission that is?
That's what we are saying. We are working on the rating system. So once we are able to develop the rating system based on all those assessments and everything, and it is approved by the various government organizations, then we can go ahead with displaying it in the app and other things as well. Yeah.
But ma'am, the company who has the highest rating, maybe their prices are also high.
No, we are not talking about company who is having the highest rating. We are talking about the cement, the quality of the cement, the various aspects of the cement, like the performance, the pricing, and the kind of product for which, suppose, see, few cements work better in water and sewage areas. Few cements can be good for the normal production. So the ratings can be based on all of that.
Ultimately, it leads to the company who produces it.
No, it can be like you go ahead with electronics, no? They have to mark their product, the rating based on those standards only. If any of the company, electronic company, they'll be there, they'll be using that same pattern.
But as sir said, it should be there in the policies that companies should use that much percentage of this kind of cement, because ultimately the bidding person don't
customers. We are talking about the pricing.
I can feel the pain, and I can understand the question that ma'am was asking. Ultimately, price factor is also there. The policy should be there, sir. In the policy, company should be bound to use some percentage of green cement so that the manufacturers can get the benefit and they don't suffer more cost implications. And sir, one more thing, you said you talked about the incentives or tax benefit to be given to the manufacturer, but the same should be passed on to the companies who are going to use the green cement. So
Absolutely.
Yes.
Perfect. And I think Abhishek and Anupam will agree on this. You get a very... Sobhanbabu, if there are do we have time to 2 to 3 more questions, I think? Yes, please. A microphone, please.
K.K. Roy Chaudhary from the Indian cement sector. My point is decarbonization of cement sector is really a very complex task. Given energy efficiency, blended cement, then waste heat recovery, and all these things, Indian cement industry excels in these areas worldwide. It is known. Beyond that, it is envisaged that around 50 to 60% decarbonization could be achieved by these pathways already known. Beyond 2030 to 35, the concept of CCUS is supposed to be indispensable. So electrification, as Neha was telling, is a remote possibility. Electrification in the kiln. So beyond 2035, CCUS kind of thing could Abhishek, Anupam, Amit throw some light about the progress of work.
So I understood your question as like the CCUs you were talking about, that now how it is going to impact and what are the benefits of the CCU. I think many plants, many industries, if we are talking about whether it is Shree Cement, whether it is Dalmia Cement or Ultratech Cement, we have been collaborated with many countries like Sweden, right, and other countries as well. So they have started these projects in their countries, and we have planned our visit as well. And to small scale, I think the results are very good. Like whatever the CO2, that is through the quicklime only they are going to manufacture your clinker. The CO2 is being absorbed, and it can be again recycled, and it can be used, it can be made as your calcium carbonate, again a source of limestone, where again you can use it for making the clinker. So this is the initial phase, but of course initially when we were talking about zero carbon also, we were talking about the reduction of footprint also. When we are talking about TSR, thermal substitution rate, increasing the alternate fuel, it looks like it is not going to be possible. But first dreams comes, and then you are thinking that how to make those into reality. And definitely the CCU, what we are talking about, it will come into reality. A lot of innovation is being done, and it is continuous, and definitely you will get the results. So let us take in a positive note, and whatever the experiments being conducted, pilot project is already successful, then definitely at the industry also it will be successful. This is from my end.
Yes. Please, some more questions.
Yeah, so basically CCUS and electrification both are important levers, because as described in the roadmap itself, 36% contribution is ultimately will be made by CCUS. Initially we are focusing on CCU because CCU at least generates some kind of revenue, so that's important. Electrification also, industry is having partnerships like Saltex, like Coolbrook, for example Dalmia is having partnership. So we are exploring technologies which are in the nascent stage currently, but we are exploring those technologies. Thank you.
And some more, any more?
Yeah, so I am Vivek from Climate Group, and we talked quite a lot about the technology readiness, and it seems like very promising the LC3 is coming up. So to anyone, like my question is to understand the market readiness or commercial readiness of the LC3, like how the investment or banking or other sectors are responding to these new technology, which comes with certain risks. And those risks are very much like perceived as something to be seen at long term and then try to jump into the mainframe picture. So how any one of you can see and reflect from the discussions or learning from the market, how they are responding to the new technology? Thank you.
Arvind, would you?
Yeah, so I'd like to answer it. See, today in today's scenarios, we have a lot of focus on reducing carbon, and at least in industries, in construction, actually we are regularly waiting for new technologies, and we are in fact exploring a lot what we can do to do something, because we have to also show the performance, as Abhishek and told that the performance, and the performance today in terms of sustainability, in terms of ESG, even government focus is very high, government demands are very high from industry, that what we are doing to reduce carbon and emissions, and what else we can do. So that is why I initially told that LC3, the moment we came to know, we approached one of the company, we brought samples, we tested, even we found that the results are good and we can use. The market is ready, even market is ready, and even market is eagerly waiting that such kind of solution come, and we do that and we use that, and we improve in our results. Today results is not only financial, the result is like how much what you are working for sustainability, what you are working for to improve this globalization things, and reducing carbon and all. So in fact, like customers like us, other industry also I see a lot of push is there, a lot of efforts are being made, and even people like us are ready to help so that we bring it and do it faster. So today, as I said, even tomorrow if I get 50% of my cement, OPC cement get replaced with LC3, I'll be happy. So initially, actually, we were talking that if I say tomorrow I need 500 metric ton of cement, so is it available in market? So that is how the situation is. So today it is market is, I think, not only Tata project. I have seen many construction industries, people are waiting for such kind of solutions.
We have overshot by 8 minutes. Just last 2 questions. If you have burning questions, yes, please. Can the mic be given?
Hello everyone, I'm Muskan from JK Cement. So my question is regarding the waste. As we are talking about climate solution and sustainability, I believe waste is also a area of concern. So how LC3 is dealing with the C&D waste, that is construction and demolition waste of the India. So how LC3 is production is dealing with C&D waste, or how it is closing the circular economy loop?
Neha, would you like to answer this, or?
There are various solutions on which we are working on dealing with the construction and demolition waste, but it is not specifically related to the LC3 production in India. I mean, LC3 is a new segment which we are working on, and when we talk about utilization of waste material, I mean, we do use various raw material which is generally not used, like the clay. We use a low quality clay. It is not used by the clay industry as such. So in that way, we are using a waste material, but not the construction waste material in LC3 production as of now.
The cement and the C&D waste are different. Huh? The C&D waste can replace your aggregates, stone aggregates in a concrete. So even if it is used in a stone aggregate is a concrete, by demolishing the building materials, utilizing that closes the loop also. So that's a perfect example of circular economy.
I was just coming to, you have added a very good thing. I think demolished waste can be a better solutions for the replacement of aggregates. So if you are using in the ready mix LC3 cement, so So there also you can use it.
Yes.
What we are using for the OPC, when we are using in the ready mix concrete or PPC, similarly because just it is an aggregate replacement, it is not the replacement of a cement. So demolished waste, there also you can use it.
Thank you. Any more? If you don't have anything, can I hand it over to Sobhanbabu for? Oh, you have. Oh, please, hand it over to you. I thought that I was handing it over to you to close it. Please. Yeah, please. Good question. Do we each see? One of my idea is that, well, I would like Amit to address it. Amit's role is to accelerate it, but this is the way that it has to be a kind of an mission mode, and we have discussed this previously with the government also and with the cement companies. I think some of the lead, and there are a lot of actors that has to be coming to it. One of the actors, major actors, is NCB and also the Cement Manufacturing Association, because then we have an aggregate of all the major cement producers in the country. So if it cannot be just the end of today. So somebody has to take the lead in aggregating all of them and keep on these discussions. And we at Tara, we are happy to, we are doing it. We have started doing it through some support from other agencies like Climate Group also. So we will keep this initiative forward.
Yeah, that's what we are doing. We are trying to talk to various government agencies and government departments as well to facilitate the problems and to facilitate the overall journey of LC3 production and come up with the solutions which the cement industries are facing in the matters of policy makings and even various small issues which generally comes up, various kind of regulations and various kind of approvals which are required from the government side. So that's what we're already doing from our own side, from IIT Delhi side. We are doing the same thing now.
From as we're talking about from the CMA side, already it is in the discussion. My managing director is the chairman, president of CMA, and already this subject is being discussed, right? So I think we started discussing with Tara also, and we are on the subject, right? As CMA, we are able to push this subject of green cement from the CMA side. And you will get that results, what is in your mind. So you will get the result that the push is already there, and it will bring the academia and cement industry together. Already it has been started, right? And you will get a better results. Maybe it will sound to you after some time that yes, whatever answers you have put the question in the context, you will get the result.
Thank you very much to our esteemed panelists, and I would like to thank you all for joining us today and taking out time for this very important discussions. And to conclude, I would just like to have the outcomes like what we have discussed. I have noted like a kind of a summary that we conquered that partnerships are crucial to drive industry transitions. Cement industry is leading with supply side interventions, and at the same time there is demand. There is significant research happening within the civil society as well as academia. Within the policy ecosystem, we need preferential green public procurement, building codes, green finance, performance systems and rating systems. And of course, partnerships would drive the transitions. So thank you so much for joining today's discussion. And we have parallel sessions today at WSDS happening today, and we have inaugural in the evening. So we look forward to welcoming you all for the inaugural as well as the thematic sessions. Thank you very much, and we do hope that you join us for the further discussions and research in our further sessions. Thank you so much.